Hello and welcome to Paula's Run Club with me, Paula Radcliffe.
And me, Christopher Thompson.
And this is week 2 of our Road to London, and today on the pod we have the main man, Hugh Brasher, CEO of London Marathon Events, as this week's guest, and he's got lots of great tips and the odd exclusive for us. So, week 2 of the Road to London, and we all know where we're building towards. That is the 26th of April in London, and no one better to give you all of the extra motivation and tips that you need in week 2 than the CEO of London Marathon Events, Hugh Brasher. Thanks so much for joining us, and Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you both. Hopefully it's been a great one, and we've got lots of positive New Year's resolutions to work on.
Absolutely. And on that, I was going to ask you about some of the personal resolutions that you have and goals for the year, but also those of the London Marathon, which is just, it's phenomenally growing year on year and year, not just on race day itself, but on the knock-on events throughout the year and the impact within the community. So where do you see it going this year? That's a big question.
Oh, it is a big question, and there's various things that I'm not allowed to say because we haven't yet announced them.
That's exciting.
Oh, a little tease.
Look, what I can say is that the 26th of April is going to be another incredible day of bringing communities together, bringing people together in a way that is profound, meaningful, life-changing. What happened last year, it was a world record number of finishers. 85 million pounds was raised for good causes by the runners, which is just incredible. That smashed the previous record by something like 12 million, something like that. In becoming the biggest marathon in the world, it's not about size, it's about quality. So there were various elements of it when we did the debrief where we went, okay, we could have done that better. We could have done that better. So there's lots of things that we've been working on. It was an incredibly hot day for runners last year. Again, we've looked at, we had, people will have noticed there were ice stations for the first time in the London Marathon. There were 18 shower stations. The Fire Brigade did an amazing job and put some extra ones out for us. And this is just the beauty of the London Marathon, how it brings people together. The whole emergency services, they're just coming out to help. So the runners did an incredible job in finishing those 26.2 miles, 56,640, I think it was. That world record's since been beaten by New York, so records are there to be broken, a bit like your record, Paula, was broken. So yeah, it genuinely is gonna be another incredible day. The elite athlete announcements that's happening at the end of January. People say the London Marathon's harder to win the Olympics. I tell you, it is going to be great to be commentating, I'm going to say, Paula.
I'm looking forward to it. Tomo as well.
I'm doing it as well. I'm coming as well.
Yeah. It's a highlight of the year every year, and a huge privilege to be a part of it and to just soak in that atmosphere. And I think back to, I can remember standing on Blackheath in those early 80s when my dad was running it and just feeling what the atmosphere was like then. And it's kind of the same. It's just so much bigger and more. The depth of it is just so great. I think that's the bit, chatting to runners, that we talk about. There were quiet spots, and I can remember that advice from my dad when I ran my first one. He said, "Be careful, because in the Isle of Dogs it's really quiet. You'll have to really go into your own head for the motivation." That's not the case now. It's more about trying to find ways to, I guess, find your space within that. And we've had some questions in recently to the Run Club about runners being jostled and finding it hard to find their own space on the road. That's not something that we've ever had relating to London, is it, Tomo? So you do a phenomenal job, given the number of runners on the road, of kind of getting everybody out there with enough space to run comfortably. And in fact, it's probably a good thing, isn't it, if you're held back a bit in those early stages?
Well, it'd be the number one tip there's a few, but definitely one of the tips is do not get overexcited. That atmosphere that you feel, as you say, on Blackheath at Greenwich is just the anticipation, something you've been building up to for weeks and months, and then it's there, and the adrenaline is just flowing. And the first part of the race is downhill, especially mile basically 2 and a bit to 3 is all downhill before you turn sharp left at the bottom of Shooters Hill. So it is about taking it easy at the start, because you will just get carried away. But it was one of the things that we did wrong. I have to say there are certain things we did wrong in 2025, and we didn't seed the race as well, the event as well as we should have done. So historically, or the previous 2 years, we'd gone out 4 weeks beforehand and asked the runners what time are you going to do, and then seeded them accordingly. We took the data from people's entry forms. Well, that's just out of date. You need to do it 4 weeks beforehand. And one of the things that we're looking to do is try and actually take it directly from people's Strava feeds or from their Garmin Connect feeds.
Okay.
Wow.
So that you can be more accurate with your prediction. Because, we've done a huge amount of work. The start is now over a 2-hour period. So we started a little bit earlier than we used to. Last year was the first time that we started at 9:30. And the last runner then starts at 11:30. So that's a huge 2-hour gap. And if you go back to when you last ran, I think, Paula, was 2015, was it?
Yeah.
Yep. The whole start was gone in 42 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's changed a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's changed hugely. So these are the things that we've really done. And so there are various elements. We're really quite brutal with ourselves in looking at the detail and going, okay, we didn't do this as well as we should. So there are bits that we will be improving. Yes, you want to control runners, but you want to allow them to run. So getting that right is really, really, really important.
It is always interesting that when people put in, like you say at the start, their aims and aspirations, and marathon's a cruel mistress, that things can happen, but ultimately getting round, sometimes it can be just about getting round when your aim is so big at the start. But it's in everyone's interest to be surrounded by athletes that are like-minded, like fitness, because it helps with the movement. So I think that's such a great idea. And remind me, what's the cutoff? Is it 7:30 in the evening? When's the?
No, there's
Is there none?
Well, no, there is. But so we have 2 finish lines now. So to get to the finish line on the Mall, the cutoff is 7:30.
Right.
But we have a secondary finish line that we open in St James's Park, and that is 23:59 and 59 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you have to finish before midnight. There's a huge team out. And again, that's a lot of work that we've been doing, looking at what we did last year. How can we improve it? Looking at the data of the reality of it is it's most runners, when they slow down, they sort of slow down very quickly. So they might start off fine, but things then start going wrong after 10K. So actually they often get halfway and it's fine, but it then really degenerates. And then most of them at the back of the pack still manage to do quite a quick last 2K. A lot of, just the team do an incredible work, a lot of work looking at the data and trying to make it great for everybody.
And it's a long day. Sorry.
I was going to say the other finish line, that is an official time still with everything.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's absolutely official, still medals. I mean, we have to, and again, we've been doing various different things about, originally we wrote down the times and then added it. Last year we added in the technology so it would automatically link. Unfortunately, for some reason, that technology didn't work. Yeah. So you always have these things that are going on in such a huge event. They're little things. I mean, we sort it out because we have people there, but actually it's like we probably had more management at the finish line for those 89 or 105 people than we did for the other 56,500 people. So it's just a lot of time, but it's really important because we want to encourage everybody, and we really celebrate people who weren't active, getting active, and having that goal of, I'm going to run the London Marathon and that's what I'm going to do. It's just brilliant that it can change people's lives in such a positive way.
completely.
It is, and growing and growing. And one of the other things that's really growing, of course, is that younger age group. I'm not sure exactly on the stats, but I know going into 2025, the 18 to 25 was the fastest growing age group taking part and growing each year in the marathon. Do you think that's a big knock on of the mini marathon and kids that have just grown up being able to touch, taste and feel the atmosphere for real and kind of wanting to get there, or just the fact that it's become more accessible?
I think it's much more about society and COVID and how a generation is feeling. It's incredible. We had 1,133,813 applications to run the 2026 event. And over a third of them, were aged 18 to 29.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Which is absolutely incredible. And if you go to Drive to Survive or any of those, what they've tried to do to encourage that age group, this is happening in running. And I think that what running has become is a haven of togetherness. And there are so many different tribes who are running, and you can find your tribe to run with. And that tribe will be incredibly welcoming both to you and to whoever else that they're going to run with. And there's competition going on, right? I mean, both of you were in the competitive side of it, right? But for us mortals, the competition is against ourselves, and can we get to that finish line, right? And can we get to the finish line and with a smile on our face? And it's the competition only with ourselves. And I think that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I hope the marathon does it, in it that it's 26.2 miles. But it is that celebration of humanity that you will feel and know and be part of on that day, that truly makes you realize how brilliant it is to be alive, how brilliant we are when we work together. And that's what people are going to get on the 26th of April.
You kind of alluded to it at the start, so I dare this answer question might be met with you can't say anything, but the fact that you made massive headlines with getting over 1 million entering the ballot, and obviously I'm sure you agree that's only numbers probably going to keep growing in the short term for sure. But do you have any sort of thoughts or ambitions about how to try and potentially say yes to more balloted people, whether it with there must be a limit to how much you can have on the day, but is there things in the pipeline that might convert more ballot places into yeses, or can we not say?
Yes, there are, but no, I can't say.
So if you've got any suggestions, just email them into the WhatsApp number. Let us know
Brilliant.
how we can fit more people on the streets of London.
It genuinely is stuff that we've been working on for 10 years.
Interesting.
We're working on it at the moment. Team are working on it. But it's the more people that we can get engaged and involved in this incredible day, the better society is. I still think, going back a little bit to what you said, Paula, with the mini London Marathon, that's the day before. Last year, we had 15,000 school kids all being timed. In 2026, it will be 18,000 school kids. And we have a plan that we will execute, and I'm saying this publicly, by 2030, it will be 50,000 school kids.
Whoa.
And every single child is being paid £10 to do the event. And that money goes towards its school for either sports equipment or computer equipment. And this is the initiative with TCS. We target the schools that are more disadvantaged because they need that help with computers or with sports equipment. And we've been doing this for years. We started this post-COVID. It took 4.5 years to get permission to do it. Wow. And I think it is, for me, it is just an incredible thing that actually will build the future of the event in 10, 15 years time, because kids having that opportunity to run across that finish line and then the next day see it on telly. And just get that feeling, and is quite incredible, and it is just a brilliant part of what we do. We are launching something on the Friday night. I will give you that as an exclusive. I won't tell you what we're doing.
Block off your diary, Thomas.
This Friday, or you mean on the Friday before the race?
The Friday before the race.
Yes.
Okay,
No, not. No. We're launching it. We're doing something for the Friday night.
Do you want to announce it on the pod?
No,
No, we're just warning everyone to get into town
I just mean
early.
on that Friday. I meant on that Friday.
on the Friday, I'm quite happy to come in and announce what's going on, and then you should come down and see. It's going to be brilliant fun.
Oh,
right?
I'm
It's going to be absolutely amazing fun. So again, the team, we're working in collaboration with other people. It's particularly targeted at a younger demographic, and using light and music and fun, because that's what it should be all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you track a lot of the demographics and the breakdowns of people coming in to run the race. Do you have a lot of generation on generation on generation that have followed the inspiration of the families? Have you looked at that one?
That is a good bit of data. I have a lot of data, Paula, but I've never actually got that piece about the intergenerational piece.
I'm just wondering that so many people kind of see parents doing it, grandparents doing it, and think, okay, I'm going to do that. Many times they'll want to then do their first one with a parent, and to share that experience together, but also coming through the mini.
Yeah, but I think, Paula, I've got a little story about, obviously, Isla did it last year.
Yeah.
That inspired my daughter, who is 15 at the moment, to think that she could do it without any training.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, I wouldn't advise that one. I would advise doing the training route.
That's what I was saying. It's like, no, well, she's going, look, it's proven.
It was painful.
Yeah, make sure she cuts her nails.
Painful.
Make sure she cuts her nails.
Anyway, they're both my daughters. One's 12, one's 15, both talking about it in the future, and then that would be the third generation of Brashers having done it. So I absolutely, we've not tracked it, but what we know is that the more that it's a beautiful virtuous circle, which is the more that parents or carers are active, the more that the children are active. The more that children are active, the more parents and carers will be active.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful, beautiful virtuous circle. So that it doesn't matter where you start, whether you start with the older age group or we start with the kids. Doesn't matter. Just get people moving, whether it's doing the daily mile, doing junior park run, doing park run, couch to 5K, build up to the marathon, enter for 2027. Remember, you've got about 9 days in 2026 to do it, and you just never know whether you're going to get the place.
I know, and it is really rewarding. I think when you hear from people and they say, I applied so many years and I had no hope of actually getting in, but they're so excited when they get that place. And then conversely, you can get someone who just applied for the first time and ends up with the place and thinks, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with this? I've now got to do that. So what would be your advice to them, Hugh, if you could give someone who's running London for the first time? It seems like it's a long way away at the moment. This will drop on the 12th of January, but at the same time, it's not, and there is a plan to follow. What would be the best bit of advice you could give someone at this stage?
I think it is properly have that 15-week plan mapped out and be sensible with it in terms of what your target is, and gradually build into whatever you're going to do. So I always go understand where your end point is, and that's the 26th of April. And probably your longest run should be 4 weeks beforehand. So that's 11 weeks. That's now 11 weeks. So then work back from that and go, okay, what is realistic that I'm not going to push my body too much, because invariably you'll probably get some sort of cold or shin pain or something during that time. So be adaptable with whatever your plan is. Don't put yourself under too much pressure. Don't pile in too much. And then try and find someone else to do it with, because they will help hold you to account on the days that you don't want to go out. And I do think that, whether you can find a local running club or a local community group, I would also put my 5K park runs in there, because just trying to keep the speed going, not just do long distances and feel more and more tired. So vary it. Look, everyone is different. So there's no one training plan. Going back to the early days, my father, when he founded the marathon, worked at the Observer. And there was what was called the Brasher Way and the Hanscom Way. So John Hanscom was another member of Ranelagh Harriers, and they both used to write articles, either the Brasher Way of training or the Hanscom Way, and they competed against each other. Six Observer readers chose the Hanscom Way, which was much more about do long distances, and my dad's was much more about do intervals and go into the woods and just do walking and stay on your feet. So they were very, very different. Bottom line is, after about 5 years, neither had done better than the other. It just was potluck and worked whichever worked for the person was the training program you should follow.
It's funny because that feeds nicely, because we had Julia Patanai on last week, and she talked about actually just that, how part of what made the marathon brilliant is just she wanted to do it, the excitement of it. So it's like it almost didn't matter what she was doing, she was just so excited by the challenge. And she also mentioned as well about how when you're on the start line, you're all the same. You're all standing there with the same kind of nerves and fears around running 26.2 miles. And it's like, and you've touched upon that, the community. And I think that's something that I think is amazing, that athletes or anyone doing it for the first time, they're on a shared experience. It's not like you fit in a different box to an elite runner. We're all just equally as nervous with our aims and thingies. But my question was going to be like, what I don't think we asked you this last time, but what's your favourite part of London Marathon Day? Is there a moment that you always kind of look forward to?
I do look forward to going down to the Red Start. I can't remember, but overlooking Greenwich and going there early in the morning. And I've got a picture on my phone of last year, and sadly it was the worst fog. So normally you can see the Cutty Sark, you can see Greenwich, you can see everything. You could see absolutely nothing. It was like pea soup. And that fog unbelievably burnt off so quickly. So actually it was, and so my favorite, it's just a moment of silence, and whoever I'm usually with sort of members of my team, just walk down there. It's, we've looked at the green start, we've looked at the blue start, and this is heading down to the red, and you know where the runners are then going to run over London, and the sun is over this beautiful city. But yeah, it was it was pea soup, and you could see absolutely nothing. So anyway, that was last year.
And do you have superstitions like that for kind of race week, let's say? Do you have things that you like to tick off just to make sure that everything's absolutely where it should be coming into the biggest day of the year?
I think, always, registration and the expo, and that's really important because you've got to have so many people going there, picking up their number. I'm always there on Tuesday afternoon. I'm always there when it then opens Wednesday morning. You might see me out, you might not, depending what's going on. So I sort of have there are certain things that I have to do that are happening in the week. There's various speeches that I'm going to have to do. I try and keep the week as free as I can, so that whatever is going on, I can then adapt to it. So if suddenly the weather does change, we've got so many plans, preparation plans. Last year, honestly, even though with all the heat, which we knew was coming, and all the plans, we had laid these out beforehand and scenario planned and everything, but just in case something is happening that you don't expect. And in previous years we had Extinction Rebellion. We've had numerous situations of things going on in London that, even though they aren't necessarily talked about, we know they're happening. We're talking to the police about them. We're talking to the emergency services. So I try and keep it as free as possible. Last year I surprised you, Paula, with an award.
It's there.
Yeah, it's good. So you were on Chris Evans, and you had no idea that I was going to meet you about an hour and a half later.
No.
So, there's all sorts of things that we plan, and we can't say what they are because they're secret.
But surprises are always good. And also, what that did as well is bring in a different area that's perhaps maybe not always highlighted in Marathon Week if it's not exactly on the routes. And it's a good reminder that London Marathon it's about the whole of London, and it showcases, as I think you said at the beginning, just that amazing spirit of everybody coming together. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of race days, the fact that all these people just come out along the route and they've spent a lot of time planning their signs. Reading those signs is great, and just getting out there and supporting everybody.
Yes, and I think, the signs are brilliant. The humor that you get from them really is incredible. So yeah, I think going back to people and what they should think about is also just on the day, be relaxed, eat. I think there's a really important thing about your food and what you do, which is practice having a breakfast at 7:30 in the morning and then running at 10:30. Unless you're very quick, you're unlikely to be starting at 9:30, right? You're much more likely to be starting at 10:30. So work out. That's where I'm starting. And you'll know that about 3 weeks beforehand. You'll get a whole layout about what time you should get your train and what time you should get to the start. But practice that in your training beforehand, and then really understand what, have Lucozade as part of your training, because that's what's going to be on the course. You want to make sure that you have practiced with it beforehand, because if you take a high carbohydrate drink, a high sugar drink, it can upset your stomach if you're not used to doing it. So the last thing you want to do is have an upset stomach when you're running, and that's going to drain you. So yeah, just be prepared, have a plan, be prepared, write it down, talk to a few people. When you go to the running show, talk to the pacers, go to the desk.
Yeah. And can you share the nutrition support that will be on the course, so runners can perhaps think about maybe practicing with that fueling? Will it be the same fueling, the gel stations and the
It's
fueling
one
stations?
of the things we are tweaking, actually.
Oh, okay.
A little bit. It is one of the gel stations and the water stations, just adding an extra water station or two. So we're still playing with it at the moment. I could do that later on, but we haven't quite finalized it yet because it's part of the analysis that we've been doing.
Ah, interesting.
Brilliant.
What for spectators as well, because obviously they're a massive part of the day. Do you have the statistics of how many spectators to runners there are? Do you know what that is? Because it's
So last year we did an economic survey, and the results haven't come out, so I can't tell you those exact results.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is the average runner brings 4.4 people
whoa
to the course. So effectively 60,000 runners. They are bringing 260,000 people, 264,000 people who are there because a runner is there.
Wow.
And those 264,000 people are on average going to 2.2 locations. So they are moving around. Those 264,000 people are moving around as though they are close to 600,000 people.
Wow. And that's big hats off as well to the London transport system for being able to facilitate and allow that to happen. Because I know you have to work really closely with the Metropolitan Police for the road closures and everything like that. And actually, we should mention it is the cleanest day of the year, every year without fail, because there aren't the cars on the roads. But being able to move that many people around is a big thumbs up for the London transport system.
Yeah, I mean, Transport for London, they do. And it was one of the things I was looking at quite a lot last year, because the year before it wasn't so brilliant, because suddenly it went up and I think they were a little bit caught out. And then actually they'd done some great work in London Bridge Station. The year before we'd had to shut Westminster and Bermondsey because there were too many people there. This year we didn't have to. So there are lots of things. It's all part of, it's a lot more complicated organising such an event than people necessarily realise.
No, definitely, and a huge thank you to you for putting in the work that you do. The one thing I did want to ask before we run out of time and before you have to go is your prediction for marathoning in 2026. So it doesn't have to be relating to London, but where do you see marathoning going in terms of people and times, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Well, I'm predicting a men's world record.
Ooh.
There you go. Start of the year
At
with a big
London?
one. That would be nice.
If you have the right weather, if we have the right weather, 100% yes.
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
Sadly, not a women's world record, and that's because of effectively cheating.
Yeah.
And I'll be really blunt about that. That's my opinion. I don't think the record that currently is there should exist. I think there's enough evidence to show that it shouldn't do.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's sad because so many people put in so much work and someone's cheated and they've been proven to cheat, but they don't yet have the enough evidence to prove that they did it when that time was done. So I just think we are going to announce that we've taken over an international marathon, so we're looking internationally. And I think, the popularity of marathon running, I think, will continue because globally it really is growing in different communities. And I was at Shanghai in November for the Shanghai Marathon. I was at Loch Ness. We now own the Loch Ness Marathon, and
Wow.
and
I hope you didn't
I
get
didn't
lost.
run it. I say again.
I hope you didn't get lost.
No, I didn't. I was cycling. I was cycling through the runners, chatting to them on a bike because I was getting off and having to massage. I was getting off and massaging various people's legs. I did say to the event director, if you've got somebody complaining about some weird bald-headed bloke who got off his bike and started massaging it was me.
And I was trying to help.
And I genuinely was trying to help. It's like they seriously needed some help. But it was just it was the day of my birthday, and it was the most beautiful day. It's like the Boston Marathon. You get bussed out to the start, and you're on this is not the Boston Marathon. The Boston Marathon, you bust out to a town, 26.2 miles outside of Boston. This is a grouse moor, basically, or a heather moor, more to the point. Above Loch Ness, 26.2 miles from Inverness. And again, it was the most that there was clouds below where we were, and the clouds were lifting and the fog was coming, and the silence before any bus turned up. And then I helped unload, I think it was 85 buses, and then they made that journey. And it was beautiful just even talking to some of the runners. Like one of the guys I was, again, he didn't know who I was, just having a chat. I'm riding the bike, remember? And, it was his first marathon. And why had you chosen this? And he said, oh, well, I did the Great North Run and I just didn't like the crowds. So I thought I'd come and do a marathon that didn't have crowds. So it had runners around him, but it just didn't have the crowds. And there was the most beautiful, at about 10 miles, there was a rainbow that appeared with the sun over the loch, and runners were just stopping and taking photographs. I stopped, I'm on a bicycle, it was fine. Yeah. They're stopping and taking photographs of this stunning rainbow. And, I just think we have so many races, events where you can get the experience that you want to get that works for you. And this guy had found that being in a big city marathon, he didn't know I was the race director, event director of the London Marathon. He's just going, I don't like crowds. It's like, okay, well, that's a good job you're here then. It's
need a massage.
Yeah, possibly. So I wasn't going out for business at the time. People needed it. It was really clear. But yeah, look, I think we will have just more and more people coming. Of the 1.1 million people that applied, 270,000 of those were international. We had 80,000. We had 80,000 people from America alone, which makes us the fourth most popular marathon in America. So we're only just behind Boston in the number of Americans that apply for the Boston Marathon in London.
staggering. That is
Yeah.
staggering.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you all of those stories, how wide-ranging the marathon family is. And I think that's why we love it as much as we do, because there is something in there that you can find for anybody. If you like running with crowds, as you said, or if you like running completely on your own, if you want hills or if you want flat, if you want beach or you want snow, we can find that in there somewhere. And it is amazing. I could sit here and talk to you all day about this,
Right.
Hugh.
Well,
Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have a question to finish?
No, I was just going to say, it's his enthusiasm. Like when someone's at the helm and the passion drips through like that, that's what I love about it. Just the way you talk about the marathon itself as well as London. It's just such a passion. And I think that's what I think running is at its core. It's such a passionate pursuit, and it just brings everyone along for the ride, and look what happens. It's just, I don't know, I just, like you said, Paul, I was just sitting there just going, I could keep going forever, because it's just, it's the passion.
Definitely.
Makes me want to go for a
It's
run.
magical, and that's why we put you now, Hugh, because we love having you
Exactly.
before the marathon to talk to everybody about last minute prep. But
Yeah, and look,
you couldn't ask for better inspiration at this point. So thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you. And I just want to say to any of your listeners is yes, you've got 15 weeks to go. Relax, write a plan, talk to a few people, joining a running club or a community group or whatever it is, find those people. And honestly, you will just have the most incredible day. And 26 miles on the 26th in 2026, all those 26.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Did you do that on purpose?
The team have done an amazing medal. That hasn't been shown. The medal again, just a great job of the medal. And
without making a dig, it's got the right river on it, right?
Oh,
it's got the Thames on it. It absolutely has the Thames
Naughty
on it.
Chris,
Yeah.
naughty Chris.
Yeah. Oh, look, come on. I thought they did a great job in terms of owning. Like, it's a terrible thing. You just, it's we're terribly sorry. I just thought it was, but. Yeah, it's great to be part of this community, and what a joy to be leading a team that is so committed. And it is this team that put the event on, and I just love being at the helm, and it brings a smile to my face every day. So thank you.
Thank you
so
very
much,
much, Hugh Brasher, and looking forward to that 26.2 on the 26th, 2026.
Yeah.
26th of the 4th, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Hugh, mate. That's so good.
Well, that was brilliant, wasn't it, Thommo? Absolutely whetting the appetite. And if you were lacking in any form of inspiration for what you need to do over the next 15 weeks now, then I'm sure Hugh has fired that up again with a vengeance.
Absolutely. But I just love when he teases with expansion ideas, but also the kids, the 50,000 kids, like getting it.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's just, it blows my mind how you think you can't top things each year, and that they find a way to do it, but also find a way to kind of bring on the next gen. Like that statistic of a third of that million being between 18 to 29 was incredible. Yeah,
I mean, it's huge. I think that is why, I mean, we don't hide the fact that we're big fans and bigger supporters of the best marathon in the world in London, but that is why, because it involves the community so much, and they're always thinking about ways to spread the good that running can bring across all the communities of the UK and beyond. I mean, the number of international runners was phenomenal as well. But you're right, the youth coming in. Yeah. And the fourth biggest after, well, I'm guessing it's after New York, Chicago, and Boston. He said they were just behind Boston. So I'm guessing the other two are New York and Chicago. But that's huge. And I know from chatting to runners all around the world, wherever you are, the one on everyone's bucket list is London, and trying to get a place in that. And then they kind of move along to the other ones on the star journey, which is now 7.
Yeah. Do you know what? That was one question I wish I'd asked in terms of how big can that series get? I know it's going up by a couple more, but I'd love to have asked him his thought, because I'm sure he's part of those discussions. But maybe we'll save that for next time later on in the series. But definitely, if you can't help but be motivated by the guy to want to be part of not just London but anything, even the way he talks about Loch Ness. I got that joke wrong, by the way. Did he get lost? I was thinking Bermuda Triangle rather than did he spot the...
That's where I'm going next week.
You're going to you're going to Bermuda Triangle?
Bermuda Triangle races, yeah. So I'm going to be out there. Anybody who's listening to the pod, you've got time to get out there in time for the weekend over, what is it, the 17th, 18th of January. I will be there taking part. So if you want to do a Paula's Run Club, quick throwing together shakeout run. I'm not sure how many will make it there, but I'm going out there to try that one. So that's ticking off another one. But you're right. It's just the way that Hugh talks so much about, and that's what I love, however many years he's been at the top of the biggest marathon, kind of growing all the time in the world, and what they do the rest of the year as well. And he's not jaded by it at all. He's still really, really enthusiastic about getting out there. And what we didn't ask him as well was how long that day is for the volunteers, because he talked about the fact it doesn't close until midnight. It takes some time then to de-rig and take everything down. And I don't even want to think about how much sleep they get in that week before the race, because I'm sure it's not very much at all.
No, I can't imagine it is as well. But yeah, kudos to everyone that makes that day amazing.
Definitely. And it's absolutely one that I'm going to be passing on to make sure that all of our runners that we're following through to London listen to that interview with Hugh, and in particular young Charlotte Davis, who we're going to get the chance to chat to in a little bit now. She's going to join us. She's, of course, our young runner that we're following, along with Sophie Rayworth and Harry Judd, as they go through their journey through to April. As Hugh said, what did he say? April the 26th of 2026, 26.2 miles.
There you go.
A big warm welcome to Charlotte Davis, who is our young first-time runner. Charlotte, thank you so much for allowing us to share in your journey through to that London Marathon on April the 26th, and basically giving you free rein to ask as many questions as we can help out with, and hopefully we can pass on the learnings that you bring as well to other listeners through that journey.
No, thank you for having me on.
I was just going to launch off with the first question for you, Charlotte. So why the marathon now? Is there a particular something? I know you work with the Events of the North company. Is there something that's inspired you to pick this as a target, and what's going to keep you going through that hard training?
I mean, obviously working in running events, you kind of see the build-up of everyone signing up, and then I'm usually stand at the finish line on event day, and like seeing people finish is just the most amazing thing ever, and I kind of wanted part of that. I started running kind of when I started at Events of the North, and then I've built up, I've done a few half marathons, and I loved all of those, and I just think it's about time I just did the marathon, see if I can do it basically, but also see if I enjoy it, see if I want to do more, but also kind of just to tick off and say I have done one. I've just turned 25, so I think it's quite a good goal to have for the year ahead, just because I feel like I'm finally ready. I think last year I wanted to, but I didn't know if it was maybe a bit much with work and everything, and I just started running, but now I think I could confidently commit to the training and see where it takes me basically, and hopefully it'll be a fun experience, hopefully it'll be an enjoyable experience, but we'll see.
How much, what kind of running background do you have going into this kind of marathon?
So I've been running for just over 2 years, maybe about 3 years. My dad's really, really into it. He's done Great North Run like every year for past like 15 years or so, and I've always watched him and always wanted to sort of go into that and do that, but not really ever committed. And then working where I work has kind of introduced me to that, and then I've joined a run club. I've made some friends through that, which obviously helps encourage you and helps keep you going. And then I've done 3 or 4 proper half marathons, and I've run the distance a couple of times like on my own. I just really enjoy like getting out there. So and my longest distance at the moment is still about a half marathon, but I'm looking at my like training plan and I'm seeing it's going to get a lot longer. So yeah, it'll be interesting. See if I can keep myself entertained for that long, because I actually don't mind a treadmill run. I can actually do quite a long treadmill run and not get bored, so that helps.
Well, that's good. That's already putting you in a good place. And I was going to ask about your support team, because you mentioned joining run clubs and doing some park runs. I know we saw in your video that was that your boyfriend who was filming you when you were...
Yeah.
Is he going to be with you on the journey?
He's just started running. He's hoping to do a half marathon this year. So I think I'll obviously train with him, which will be nice because he's only ever done about 10K before. And then I might do the half marathon with him as training, and it sort of makes it more enjoyable for both of us to have that support. And yeah, I've met loads of friends through my run club and through park runs. It's just really nice to have that connection. And a lot of them did their first marathon last year. So I kind of thought, I need to get on that. I need to join the club, basically.
What kind of plan are you following? Have you got has someone written you one, or have you downloaded them? What's your kind of marathon plan you've got?
At the moment, I've downloaded one. It's just a runner one, but I've been looking at the official London Marathon. They have the set plans for certain weeks, like 16 weeks or so. So I do refer across just to see and check that I'm doing sort of right distances. And Steve said that he would help, so I might look to him for some pointers as well. But I'm just making sure I'm on the right track.
That is, of course, Steve Cram, who you work with at Events of the North. So he's got the background and has run a couple himself, and an ultra indeed. So he might be able to help you with those. Do you have goals? You don't have to share them if you don't want to. But you mentioned that you obviously want to enjoy it and have fun out there. I think that's a brilliant goal for your first one. Do you have specific time goals within that you're aiming for, or just to enjoy it?
I think number one goal is to finish. And yeah, to enjoy it, to basically not hate it and not hate running, as a lot of people I know have ended up doing. But also just to sort of soak it up and like realise that it's a huge thing, and obviously, especially London, it is such a big race, and like so important for me and like my fundraising and stuff like that. To just, I'm not going to set a time goal because I don't want to go out too fast or stress myself out with training thinking I've got to hit these paces. Obviously I'm going to do some speed work like with the club, and then in like some of my sessions, like each week I think I'll probably do like one speed session, but I'm not going to go into the race expecting to get a certain time just because I don't want to stress myself out, basically.
It's a brilliant mindset. Just remind us who you're running for.
Rise North East, which is a charity who are encouraging physical activity and movement in communities who need it, like older people, kids, workplaces, because it's not just about physical health, it's about mental health as well. It's just so good to encourage people to move their bodies and make friends and, be social and things like that. So it's something I really believe in, obviously working where I do and seeing that firsthand as well in my own life.
That's excellent. We will put the link to that, of course, for everybody up in the captions or whatever they are underneath the thing. What do we call it, Summer? I don't know what we call it. Something
I'll leave
down
it at
there.
that. Yeah, something here.
Something below. There will be a link somewhere.
Lots of
Charlotte, do you
edits.
have any questions for us at this point? We are in week 2.
So obviously as the sessions are starting to get longer and the long runs getting longer, how would you sort of tackle that, heading out every single Sunday, looking at like 20 to 30k runs? How do you sort of make that easier on yourself, or tackle the mental battle of getting out there, especially in the winter, and getting it done?
I think that, there's a number of ways. I'll go with a couple, Tomo, and then you come in with a couple of yours. I think my big one would be to plan the rewards and to mix up your route a little bit. Some people, and you need to find what works for you. Some people like to run the same one and just go a little bit further each time. And some people like to run a completely different one each time. So you find the way that works for you, whether you're someone that likes exploring and being flexible, or whether you're somebody that likes routine, because getting someone out there to help you, particularly when you start practicing fueling, is invaluable. So whether it's someone on a bike or someone in a car who's kind of leapfrogging ahead to be able to give you drinks at different points, but that also helps to break it up, because then you break it down into those sections. Have a nick yours, Tomo.
Do you know where you said about rewards, and I was actually in my head I went digestives, but in a play on words, for the fact that make make things digestible, as in like bite size. So
Oh, I thought you were talking about biscuits hidden along
no,
the
I
route.
was, but it was a play on when you said reward. I was like, I could almost double egg it. You have
Yeah.
digestible stuff at the beginning, bite size, and then an actual digestive at the end. Anyway, so I think that very quickly, like, I think every runner, elites included, feel daunted by long runs and that process to get out the door, because it's part of what makes you respect the challenge. And so that feeling like that is actually a good thing. And I think it's not about, when you step out the door, you're not trying to digest the whole run in one go. You're trying to take it step by step, and that includes getting changed, that when you wake up, the fueling, and you just take each step and you make each step manageable. Because the one thing that you know and you're guaranteed is when you finish it, you will feel really good about yourself. And that feeling you want at the end is the constant. How you get there just needs to be broken up into bite-sized manageable bits, because there will come a point on the run where your legs and body are doing it for you. It's just your mind has to carry you through the different sections at the beginning before you get to that point. And that goes for each Sunday, because at the end of it, you're gonna feel really good about having finished it.
And be flexible as well, Charlotte. So there might be some days where you just aren't feeling it. You're feeling a bit under the weather. You've got a little bit of a niggle. It's really bad weather outside. Be flexible with it. It doesn't have to be every week on a Sunday. If something crops up and you feel better getting it done on a Tuesday, doesn't matter. Sometimes you might have to skip one entirely. That is built into the schedule. It's not make or break that every week you have to hit it.
And then what would you say like are your best recovery and rest tips? Obviously it's very hard on your body doing all the training week in, week out, and it gets tiring, and you need those rewards, I guess, to kind of help you feel refreshed and ready to do the next week.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think building things in advance. So if you can treat yourself to a massage, whether it's just somebody in the family who has some kind of experience in sports massage, or whether you go along to a massage therapist and just kind of build that in. Doesn't need to be weekly, but I think it can help to just refresh you and just to reward yourself a little bit. Hot and cold baths, we kind of talk about that a lot, about getting into ice baths, cold baths, to kind of stimulate the recovery, but also contrasting that with a warm one can help with recovery, particularly in the cold months. And I think just making sure you pay enough attention to your sleep and nutrition. They're the big things, making sure that you allow enough time to get good quality sleep in overnight and allow your body to kind of build on all the training that you're putting in, so that all of that training is useless unless you're able to recover and put the building blocks together to move forward. So really concentrating on giving your body those building blocks in terms of sleep and nutrition.
We talk about a lot about these windows, but I think evolve and learn yourself what's right, because you've done running and you've done half marathons before, and you're building on top of that. So I think getting into the rhythm of being a runner regularly, and I think it's running a marathon can sometimes feel like you think about it all day and you need those points to switch off. And I think section off the recovery as part of the run or part of the session, so that when you have done your run, you've done your recovery, you do give yourself that time to switch off so that you can then sleep. Because I think one of the challenges around sleep is because we're still carrying the mental load of, have we done everything we need to do? So try to section off your day and see your, like, extend your session out by an hour to hit the recovery, and then you're Charlotte and you're you on a day, so you can just download, switch off, and then sleep would be an extension of what Paula said. So
Thank you.
enjoy. Well, you say
Yeah.
hard, but like enjoy
Train smartly.
enjoy training hard. You're smart and hard and enjoy. But hopefully again, this is and again, I suppose another tip. But if it feels overwhelming, a lot of information, honestly, throw it out and just absorb what you can absorb. Absorb what
Take
you can
what
for the
resonates
moment.
with you.
Yeah, don't
That's
feel
really
you have
good
to do
advice.
everything. Do what you cherry pick the bits that feels manageable for now, and then let the other stuff come to you when you feel ready. Don't feel you have to do everything in one go.
So just on the topic of recovery, how should I adjust my nutrition to sort of support like the energy that I'm using, but also recovering well and feeling rested? And is there any supplements or anything that I should be taking?
Absolutely. I think the first and foremost is just to adjust your diet. So really simply energy out. You've got to put that energy in somehow. So you will, it's one of the best bits about marathon training, isn't it, Tomo? You will find that you can increase the amount of food that you're getting in and the quality of that food. So increasing obviously the carbohydrates, but also proteins and good fats. And then around that, are you taking supplements at the moment?
I'm not. I take creatine for the gym, but that's about it, really.
Mhm. Well, I think that's not a bad one to keep in there through that marathon because it does help with so many different things. I think for a female as well, maybe an iron tablet as you're increasing it, mixed of course with the vitamin C and the B vitamins that you need to be putting in there. And then magnesium, I think, is a really strong one. We're actually going to talk about it in a little bit as well. Wild Nutrition have a really good one that's kind of food grown out there. Magnesium is just really important for helping to support your body through growing the muscles, training hard, recovering, and the kind of psychological side as well as the physical side, and really, really important in helping you have a good night's sleep. And there's lots of evidence into how much. Do you take magnesium, Tomo? I know I do.
I did in parts during my running career. I
Mm.
have to like pick that back up because I think magnesium, like you say, it's a big thing to. It's like one of those things that you know about it when you're depleted, and you kind of
Yes,
take it for
yeah.
granted when you're not. Kind of thing, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, it was one of the warning things for me was this tight legs, really
Okay.
legs just feeling really, really like I couldn't get them moving. I couldn't stretch them out, and
Mm.
the muscles just weren't firing as well as I was hoping that, that they would do. And that was a warning sign for me that my magnesium was dropping off. And you kind of burn it naturally in so many areas of life, but particularly when you up the training. So that's a good one, and it helps you to kickstart that recovery process with a good night's sleep. Thanks so much, Charlotte.
Well, thank
Thank
you
you,
for answering
Charlotte.
my
Really
questions.
appreciate it, and very best of luck with everything. And don't forget, you can always get in touch anytime to ask
Thank
any
Well,
more
you.
questions. It doesn't have to be on the pod.
yeah,
Thanks very
we'll
much.
check. We'll check back in with you soon. Good luck. Enjoy. Smile.
Bye.
It's
And
good.
stay
It's
safe in the
fine.
snow. Well, we mentioned with Charlotte there the importance of supplements such as magnesium, and we do have a recommendation. Of course we do, don't we, Tommy? What's our recommendation on magnesium supplements?
Well, absolutely. But we're lucky to have some friends at Wild Nutrition who sponsors today's episode, who have an offering at Paulins Run Club for 50% off for 3 months.
And I'm very excited about this one. It is something that I take regularly, magnesium, and I really fundamentally believe in the importance of it. Wild Nutrition believe that your body is wired to absorb nutrients, as we know, best from food, and that's why they don't add anything. There are no synthetic fillers or binders ever added to their supplements. They're all food grown.
Yeah, because what's the word is that food grown, which is basically taken back to its very roots. No pun intended. uh, to then, because it's actually the best way to absorb food and absorb the nutrients. And I think it's scientifically proven that your body reacts best when it is at source and in its most original form as possible.
Exactly, they're better absorbed and better retained by the body. And for runners listening, their food grown magnesium is a prime supplement to take if you are regularly physically active. It's really important to help support all of that normal muscle function.
It's what I was saying with to Charlotte as well, and the advice of like trying to wind down from hard exercise is tough. I found it helps to relax the body after intense exercise because in the evening you want to promote physical and mental kind of wind down, and doing that will enable better quality sleep, which will set you up for a better day the next day and to repeat intense exercise. It may sound simple, but it is.
Absolutely. Whatever you can do to improve that sleep. And they have a gold standard sleep study as well that found that food grown magnesium increased sleep by 42 minutes per night. That might double your sleep at the minute, Tomo. And sleep
Tell me
quality
about
by
it.
32%. It supports your nervous system and psychological function while reducing tiredness and fatigue.
it's good to know that these products are founded by a leading nutritional therapist, Henrietta Norton, who has over 20 years of clinical expertise and informs every one of their products. They even have an all-women team of nutritional therapists who offer free consultations.
So, of course, we have a giveaway. We have Wild Nutrition are giving Paula's Run Club listeners an exclusive 50% off for 3 months and a free personal consultation with a nutritional therapist. Just go to wildnutrition.com/Paula to get started.
I was going to do the title this time.
But you can do it again. You can do it again
Okay.
just to re-underline it.
Oh, that is wildnutrition.com/Paula, so you can feel the difference yourself. Start 2026 rooted in wellness. There you go. Well, that was, I think, a really good offering from Wild Nutrition, and really great to have them on board, helping us and our listeners. But this brings me to our new segment of the 1 minute challenge, and I'm going to give it to you, Paula, for this week. And it's a nutritional challenge, Paula. So you've got to stick to a minute, and I'll be watching you.
Okay.
In 1 minute, as best you can. This is going to be harder for me in the future than you. How has nutrition changed since you first started running marathons?
Oh, wow. Phenomenally. I think the first big change is on the palatable and the effectiveness of gels and how easy it is to take them. I think when I was first starting running marathons, in fact, through most of my career, it was really hard to find a gel that you could absorb well, that didn't give you gastrointestinal side effects, and that was palatable. And those have massively improved. And then I think the wider understanding, we touched on Wild Nutrition and the quality of their food grown nutrition and magnesium in particular. That was something that I really discovered when I started training harder for the marathon, was that I started to get really sore, tired legs, like I talked about with Charlotte. And that was because I was deficient in magnesium. And it was amazing how quickly that went the minute I boosted my magnesium levels back up. And then, of course, sleep is a bonus side of that.
Blimey, you kept your own
55.
clock. I was going to say, you kept your own clock there. Well done. Do you know what? We should keep ourselves to that kind of limit all the time, because that was very clear.
I was going a bit like a choo-choo train, though, wasn't I?
No, listen, you were like what's it called? That bullet train in Japan called? I forget what it's called. It's called the bullet train.
The bullet train.
The bullet train of advice from Paula in 1 minute of nutrition. We should do that.
Right.
Lots of projects. But that was good. That was really good.
Right, Thommo, normally at this stage now in the Road to London, we're going to have our training corner. I feel like we've touched on quite a bit already with the preparation for running in the snow. I think Hugh helped out with some of those as well. What was his advice as well? You've got to change your stride slightly differently when you're
that was before he came on. Yeah, you have to shorten your stride a little bit. Yeah.
That was a really good piece of advice from him, that remember that when you're running on different surfaces, whether it's trail, whether it's snow, whether it's sand or mud, you do need to change your style and your stride slightly to be able to adapt and avoid things.
It's what I was leading into with the biomechanical changes, just being mindful. I was just thinking as well, maybe this should, rather than the training corner, maybe it should be the training oval.
Well, because we run in circles, but we are
because
kind
of the track.
There are some corners on the marathon, though, but try not to.
This is true.
Too sharp corners.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's the zone. It's the zone. We're going to be in the zone, aren't we? Definitely. Good to call it that zone where we're going to help out as much as possible with the training. You are in week 2. As Hugh did say in his interview, it is a long time to go, and it does sometimes help to divide it down into chunks. So we would call this the laying down the basics phase, right, Thommo? So you're starting to think about just putting in your structure in the week and finding out what works for you. As we said with Charlotte, you don't have to do your long run on a Sunday. Race day will be a Sunday, but it doesn't have to be that in training. It is about finding what works for you and kind of pulling together those key aspects and making sure you integrate them into your week.
And it's funny, like how I think about these things now, but for a lot of people, they're just getting back to work. Kids are just going back to school if they can with the weather. And I think a lot of things in life for a lot of people are settling down now, and I certainly feel for myself. I'm almost now starting to think about myself now when it's difficult over the Christmas and holiday period because there's so much going on, family, and it's all great. But I think that Hugh said it, about just relax. Let's not try and do everything overnight. You've got time. You've got to see these next 2-3 weeks as exactly as you said, Paula, laying down the base habits and foundations. And part of that is your structure in life, getting into the routine of taking your kids into school or the commute into work or whatever it is, getting back into the routine of not eating at lunchtime a big turkey, things we take for granted that we kind of, a good, strong, structured routine helps you be creative and be expansive with training outside of that. So I think, and again, I think, and I said it to Charlotte, of like, you're not trying to take on all the advice now. Just take on the relevant bits that's relevant to you for now, and bring in other bits as and when you feel ready to do that. And I think you need to be as enthusiastic today for the marathon as you are the week of, 2 weeks out. So you're not trying to spread your butter evenly, as my coach used to say. You get your piece of toast and you spread that butter as evenly as you can across the toast, which is not easy to do.
No,
I always get lumps.
It's not. It's a skill.
It is a skill.
Metaphorically speaking, of course, it is a skill as well to get yourself ready. So we are with you every step of the way. We will drop with the main pod on every Monday as we build up towards April the 26th. And don't forget the Shakeout as well on Thursday. For all of your questions, you can send those in to Paula's Run Club at momentumbroadcast.co.uk, or on socials at Paula's Run Club, or indeed to the WhatsApp number +44 7564 747 914. Just one more quick reminder of that offer from Wild Nutrition, who are offering Paula's Run Club listeners an exclusive 50% off 3 months and a free personal consultation with a nutritional therapist. You need to head to wildnutrition.com/Paula to take full advantage of that offer. This has been about all we've got time for this week, I'm afraid. It has been a Momentum Broadcast production. We have been honoured to have been joined by the main man organising the race that we are all working towards. Hope you enjoyed listening to it, and we will see you next week.
See you next week, guys. Stay safe out there on the roads. Looking forward to seeing you next week.